Hi Bold Bakers, I want to introduce you to Vedica, an amazing baker who is part of our Bold Baking network. Vedica is the host of the online show Hot Chocolate Hits. She also is the author of the cookbook 52 Weeks, 52 Sweets. Vedica creates recipes for us over on Bigger Bolder Baking, and recently she created a recipe for cinnamon roll muffins. They were such a huge success that we asked her to make a video, so here you go.
Thanks so much, Gemma. Hi guys, I'm super excited to be back here again to guest host an episode of Bigger Bolder Baking for you. Today we are making cinnamon roll muffins. Now, I love a good cinnamon roll, but I'm a full-time student with multiple jobs and I have zero patience. So I came up with the cinnamon roll muffin recipe. Like a cinnamon roll, it's fluffy, packed with a buttery cinnamon filling and slightly sticky from a sweet vanilla glaze. We shared this recipe with you on the Bigger Bolder Baking website a couple weeks ago and you loved it, so we decided to share a video recipe with you. Now, as always, the full printable recipe is on the Bigger Bolder Baking website, so you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
We're going to start by preparing our cinnamon mixture. So to a large bowl, I'm adding in some brown sugar. I'm using Demerara, which is a coarse sugar, but packed brown sugar is just fine. Next, toss in some all-purpose flour, followed by ground cinnamon, salt, and some finely chopped walnuts or pecans. Now the nuts are optional, but they add a delicious crunch to the muffins, and I also add nuts to my cinnamon rolls, FYI. And if you're looking to stray from the ordinary, a handful of chocolate chips are also a welcome addition. A bit less like cinnamon rolls, but very delicious. Next, you'll need some butter. In the recipe we posted a few weeks ago, I called for cold butter, which supposedly yielded a crispier topping, but I found that using melted butter didn't make too much of a difference to the texture or the flavor, and it's way easier and quicker to work with, so it's your call. Now, I just put it in the microwave, stirring after every 15 seconds or so, or until it was melted, and combined it using a fork. When the mixture is homogeneous, you can set it aside for later. Now we're going to prepare the muffin batter. In a large bowl, throw in some flour and some sugar. I'm using granulated sugar for the muffins, but again, Demerara works beautifully. Next, add in a tablespoon, yes, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which helps the muffins rise, and half a teaspoon of salt. Whisk everything together. And next, you want to make a well in the center of those dry ingredients. My whisk was not sufficient for the job, so I switched to a spoon and that worked beautifully. Now to your crater, you can add in the wet ingredients. This is a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, any flavorless oil will do. Also add in 1 large egg, and a whole cup of milk, and your final wet ingredient, a good teaspoon or so of vanilla extract. You literally just want to combine everything, and your batter will have some tiny lumps throughout. Now we don't want big lumps, but in this case the small lumps are fine because first of all they dissolve in the oven, and second of all we barely work the gluten in the flour, and that results in a beautifully tender, fluffy and soft muffin, just what we want. So that's combined. Now we're going to move on to the muffin tray. Now I have here a 12-cup muffin tray that I'm lining with paper liners. As you can see, I couldn't decide between the dark and the light ones, so I just used both. You'll need to dollop a generous tablespoon of the muffin batter into each cup. Using 2 spoons will help you with agility and cleanliness. Now, as you can see, some of my paper liners didn't seem to perfectly fit the muffin cup. If you have any tips on how to remedy that, let me know in the comments. Next, sprinkle atop a tablespoon of the cinnamon mixture. I always felt like I would run out of the mixture, but you'll have more than enough, so don't scringe on your tablespoon. And once that's done, you want to divide the remaining muffin batter between the paper liners. You'll end up with the liner being about 4/5 of the way full. Finally, divide the remaining cinnamon sugar among the 12 muffin cups. They will be quite full, which yields a luxurious, big muffin. And I also like to use the back of the tablespoon to gently press the cinnamon mixture into the muffins. It keeps the mixture from breaking off once the muffins are done. The result of adding cinnamon sugar to the tops of the muffins is that it produces a nice crunchy layer, like a streusel. Now here's a tip to help you get a nice tall muffin with that coveted muffin dome. You'll need to let the tray sit for around 20 minutes before putting it into the oven. In fact, I start preheating my oven once I filled all the cups. I just noticed that the muffins are taller if I let them sit for a little bit. What this does is it allows the baking powder to work some of its magic, and it causes the batter to hydrate and thicken, developing some of the gluten structure without compromising on the moisture. And once these go into the oven, they'll grow tall and beautiful without getting dry. Does that make sense? Well, I am a law student, not a scientist, so if you have a more sound explanation, I would love to hear it. So my oven has been preheating to 200 degrees Celsius or around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to bake these for 20 to 25 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean.
Now, while those muffins are baking, I want to take a second to tell you a little bit more about Hot Chocolate Hits. So I started Hot Chocolate Hits when I was 14. It was a way to share the recipes that I loved with you. I love to share recipes with a slightly unique twist, so I'll try to add some new spices or variations. The recipes that are easy to make but that yield very impressive results. And last year I wrote my first cookbook, 52 Weeks, 52 Sweets. It's culturally and seasonally themed, and for every week of the year there's a new dessert recipe that's elegant and delicious. So if you like these cinnamon roll muffins, I hope you check out my blog and the cookbook. The links will be down below. And without further ado, let's get back to our recipe.
The muffin tops should be golden, they should have risen significantly and formed a slight dome. Let the muffins cool for 5 minutes in the tins, then remove them and place them on a wire rack to cool completely. Now to finish these muffins, I like to drizzle them with a sweet vanilla glaze. To make the glaze, all you need to do is combine confectioner's sugar with milk and some vanilla extract and whisk together until the mixture is runny. This is the perfect consistency for your drizzle. Using a tablespoon of the mixture, I drizzle the glaze in a zigzag motion and let it drip down the sides, and we are finally ready to enjoy. I love one of these cinnamon roll muffins for breakfast with a hot cup of tea. These are so tender and fluffy, and when you cut in, you'll reveal another layer of cinnamony goodness, which is reminiscent of your favorite cinnamon roll. A perfect addition to your breakfast spread, and if this doesn't make your morning, I don't know what will.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to make these cinnamon roll muffins. The full printable recipe is available on biggerbolderbaking.com. Now, if you give this recipe a try, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd be very eager to hear how you liked it. I wish you a very happy baking. Bye-bye.
A big thank you to Vedika for sharing this recipe with us. And for lots more baking videos just like this one, make sure you subscribe to our channel.